happened.
Yeah, I'm just preparing to. Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm just preparing to make my class live on the Zoom. Then I can start sharing this. Yeah, people, devotees who are not giving, the importance of this class, we don't have to worry for them, okay? I have only 5 students, I'm good with that. I'll give certificate to those 5 who are really qualified. No worries. So please keep track of the attendance.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I am tracking every week. I am sending in the group also for
Yeah,
them.
yes. You can see a screen now, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sajanand Prabhu, can you chant the Pranam mantra?
Sure, Prabhuji. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरु उन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा सदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तु ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की
जय
Jai.
श्री राम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।
Table.
So who is Jai Jagannath? Manohar Prabhu?
yeah जय जगन्नाथ
Yes, I'll change my name.
It is fine. As long as I know it's you. I was just wondering who is. Sometimes, demigod can also join the class.
हरि बोल
So if there is some demigods coming, then I want to have their darshan before they leave. So back to the discussion that we had. We talked about all of this. And if I don't make mistake, I think we are talking about School of Theology. Atheistic, I have completed. Theistic, we have to go through, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
That's what we have done. So this is very important discussion that we are going to do. Okay. So atheistic, we talked about. There are so many atheistic. You'll be surprised to know that Jain and Buddhism philosophy is under atheistic philosophy. Even Charvak Darshan is considered atheistic. That's what. Now, what is atheistic? Theistic philosophy is a philosophy where one has faith in higher personalities. We have faith in higher authority. So that's another thing. Okay, having faith in the higher authority is also very important. Prabhupada said that if you believe in me, then you have to believe in my structure. Prabhupada said. He didn't say that. He said that I believe in Prabhupada, but don't believe in my GVC structure. Prabhupada said. Then it's not believing in me. Okay. So higher authority, and that could be different personality. There could be different approach. So we'll just list few theology, which are the Darshan Shastra, we also call it. And then who are the prominent Acharya? And then what are the essential teachings? So first one on that is Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy gives the complete analytical understanding of Supreme Lord. And founder of that theology or Acharya of that theology is Kapil Muni, who gave knowledge to Mother Devavati. Okay. Then there is Nyaya Shastra, Nyaya Darshan. And Acharya responsible for Nyaya Darshan is Gautama. And Nyaya, as you know, appears, and as the word goes, or as the meaning of the word reveals as it is, it's logic. So Nyaya Darshan is another darshan that is based on logic. Vaiseshika, that is a school of particularity, means a particular personality. Kanda Muni is the Acharya for that school. And yoga, we all know about yoga. That is Patanjali Rishi. And this yoga is about contemplation and postures. If you have done anything wrong, you have to contemplate for it. And then there is Mimamsa. Acharya of that school is Jamini, Jamini Rishi. Karmimamsa, right? So this school is very much teaching about Vedic rituals. But the sixth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 darshans, theology. And the sixth one is Vedanta. And under Vedanta, there are Dvaita, Advaita, Chinta, Chinta, Veda Tattva, all of that. So Vedanta, the prominent Acharya for Vedanta is Vyasdev. Okay, let me see if I don't have that slide here. Hold on, let me pull out one presentation. I need to share something else that I don't have here. Meanwhile, if you are seeing the slide, please go through it. Let me pull out one more slide here. That if I add it, then it will make sense to you. I don't know where it is. 415 lineage. Oh my gosh, I found it right away. Okay. Okay. Are you seeing this screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So Vedanta school is what we follow,
Mhm.
which means we are following prominently the teaching of Vyasdev. So you have to remember that prominently we are following the teaching of Maharishi Vyasdev. So this is a very, very important slide and it will confuse you. But I just, for now, slowly and slowly you will build it. But let's understand whatever information is being presented here. So within Vedanta theology, which is based upon the teaching of Maharishi Vyasdev, there are four prominent sampradaya. So within Vedanta theology, here there are four sampradaya. Okay, the very first one, which is not part of Vedanta, so we call it Mayavadi school, or a school that is very much led by Shankaracharya, Advaita school, which is there is nothing real, but there is only one Brahman, and material world appears real due to ignorance. We all are Supreme Personality of Godhead, but due to illusion, we have taken this body. Once this illusion is gone, then Aham Brahmasmi, uh, we become Brahman. So there are Mahavakyas from Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta has, Vedanta Sutra has aphorism. Out of those, they have taken Tva Asmi, Aham Brahma Asmi, Brahman Sarvakhilam, something like that, that everything is basically Brahman. You and I are Narayan, but due to illusion, we have these forms and everything else. So that's Advaita school. So Advaita school is not officially considered part of Vedanta teaching, not considered official teaching given by Vyasadeva. All this based on Vyasadeva teaching, but Shankaracharya through his Sharir ka Bhasya, or Vivek Chandamani, Chudamani, Chura, Chudamani. He gave the explanation which doesn't align with the teaching that Vyasdev wanted to give us. Okay, so that's why I highlighted the yellow color. Okay, don't consider that that's part of the Vedanta, but there are four other sampradaya: Varun sampradaya, Kumar sampradaya, Sri Lakshmi sampradaya, and Rudra sampradaya. These four sampradaya are considered bona fide sampradaya, which are coming from, which is based on the teaching of Vyasdev. So we have to be very clear. Now, Brahm Sampradaya, the original person from whom this lineage started is Lord Brahma himself. Lord Brahma gave that teaching to Narad, Narad to Vyasdev, Vyasdev to Madhvacharya, like that. So Brahm Sampradaya coming from Lord Brahma. And prominent Acharya for the Brahm Sampradaya is Madhvacharya. And Madhvacharya thought that Bhagwan and living entity are two different subjects. So they are called Dvaita philosophy. It's very important to understand some of these things. Okay. So Madhvacharya taught that Vayu Jyotam and Vishnu Narottam. Vayu Narottam? No, Vayu Narottam and Vishnu Devotam. And of all the Nar, Vayu is the supreme Nara. And of all the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu is supreme. So main point was that he said, no. These living entities are different subjects. They were never the Bhagavan. They are not the Bhagavan. They will never become the Bhagavan. They are separate. And Lord, in his form as Krishna and Vishnu, is separate. Okay? So Madhvacharya completely segregated that. I'll come back to this. Then there is another sampradaya which is coming from the four Kumaras, called Kumar Sampradaya. And the prominent acharya of that sampradaya is Nimbarka Acharya. So he also said that that philosophy that he gave was called Dvaita Advaita. Shuddha Dvaita is Madhvacharya philosophy, but Dvaita and Advaita. He said that living entities are both Dvaita and Advaita. Dvaita, if they are in the ignorant stage, if they are bound, then they are segregated, separate. But living entity, if they perform bhakti, they can desire to merge into Brahman. So his philosophy is also, perfect, makes sense, as you understand. We also say Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So he said they are, they are separate. Bhagavan and living entity soul, they are separate. But living entity had choice, which is correct. Living entity had choice to merge in Supreme Brahman and be the part of the Brahman. Yes, living entity has that that choice. Okay. Lakshmi Sampradaya was very prominent. I'm sure Binda Mataji would know a lot about that Sampradaya. The prominent Acharya of that Sampradaya is Ramanuja Acharya. And his teaching was Vishisht Advaita. Okay. So Vishisht Advaita teaches same thing, that Supreme Personality of Godhead and living entities are different. Okay. But there are some living entity which are empowered. Like, there are different incarnations, sometimes we say, or Satyavasis avatars, or there are, like for example, there are some personality, Pithu Maharaj, personality like Pithu Maharaj. He was although Jiva Tattva, but he was empowered. He Palan Sakti of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's also, Ramanujacharya also, said the same thing that we are all believing and following. Is that there are Vishisht means specific. There is a special type of personality who are all the Jiva Tattva, but they have the qualities. Like for example, Lord Brahma, he is very specific type of, So those personality, although he doesn't become Lord, but he had choice, to merge into Lord. So there is a special uh, personality. And then there is another sampradaya. It's called Rudra Sampradaya. And Acharya for this sampradaya is Vishnu Swami. And later Balvacharya also came into that sampradaya. And his teaching is Suddha Advaita. So Suddha Advaita means Prabhupada also said that soul and Bhagavan qualitatively they are same, right? Right? Somebody had to say yes or no.
Yes,
An
Prabhuji.
example was given that if you take a drop of water and you do the chemical analysis, you'll find that the drop has all the chemical composition that is contained in the sea. So if you take abundance of water from the sea and do the chemical analysis, or you take a drop of water from the sea and do the chemical analysis, the composition wise, they are not different. Okay, their compositions are same. So that's what Vishnu Swami's teaching was, that they are different, you know, they are different, but they have similar quality. Okay, and then in all of these sampradaya, there were different acharya came and they gave some deeper insight of that sampradaya. Like Balvacharya sampradaya, Rudra sampradaya is called uh, Pushti Marg, you know. Pushti is the nourishment. This is the marg. This is the path that nourishes the soul. In Brahma Sampradaya, after Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri, and then Lord himself came as Mahaprabhu. Okay. So what happened is that Kumar Sampradaya said Dvaita Advaita means there is oneness but difference also. Ramanujacharya said, oh, there are some oneness, but they are different too. And Rudra Sampradaya also that there are differences, but there is oneness. So all of these Sampradaya, they gave some understanding of difference versus oneness in their own perspective. Mahaprabhu came, he was a disciple of Ishwar Puri, coming from Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya also is known as the first guru because until Madhvacharya, the Acharyas have worshipped Lord Vishnu. Madhvacharya completely changed the worship to Krishna's worship. He said that Vishnu we are talking about is Krishna. And Krishna is a Yatachamsa Kalapumsa. Expansions and expansion of the expansion. That's basically all of that coming from Krishna. So Mahaprabhu gave a philosophy under Dvaitavad, and that is known as Achinta Ved Aved Tattva. And that was considered a complete philosophy. So all of these acharyas said there is some duality, but there is still some oneness. Madhvacharya completely said that keep it secret, keep it completely separated. They are never together. And other acharyas gave their understanding, their definition of what is Advaita, what is Dvaita. And Mahaprabhu finally came and coined the term called Achinta Ved Aved Tattva. So Ved and Aveda, soul and super soul or Bhagwan, they are different. At the same time, they have some oneness. And that oneness, he says, is Achintaya. It's not something that one can conceive through their mental concoction. That oneness one can understand only when they are engaged in devotional service. And he gave this term, Chinta Veda Vetattva. And that's the philosophy we as a Brahma Gaurya. So our Sampradaya, Brahma, okay, Madhava. So Brahmada and Gauriya is those Vaishnava who are following the teaching of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gauriya. So Brahma, Madhava, Gauriya, that's the Sampradaya we are in. So what is our Sampradaya? Brahma, Madhava, Gauriya Sampradaya. Because it's coming from Lord Brahma originally. It is based on the teaching of Madhvacharya, and Lord himself came and explained that in different way or in a more distinct way, and that makes it Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. Okay, so that's our Sampradaya. But all of these four Sampradaya, Brahma Kumar, Siddhi, and Rudra, since they are based on teaching of Vedanta, they are called four Sampradaya, four prominent school of teaching. And one who is doing devotional service, if they follow any one of these sampradaya, they are equally good. That's what is basically teaching. That as long as they follow the teaching that is given by their acharya, they're equally good. They'll go back to home, back to Krishna. So it's not like that the devotees who are follower of Ramanujacharya, they are less competent. No, they all will go back to home, back to Krishna. So that's how this Vedanta school is summarized. Okay. And the teaching that are present, again, there are these three prasthan, three ways to conform. It's called source of spiritual knowledge. We have talked about it, Sutir prasthan, Asmati prasthan, and Nyaya prasthan, based on logic, based on hearing, and based on remembrance. So that's how this introduction of Isopanisad concludes. Okay. So before we start the first verse, is there anything that anybody would like to ask or anything that anyone share before we move to next section?
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji, okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
no, I have a small question, Prabhuji, on the slide, like atheist and theistic. I saw Jainism on both. How do we understand, before that slide, Prabhuji, the atheistic and theistic. Yeah, I see Jain in both atheistic and theistic also. How do we understand, Prabhuji? Like here
Because
also.
in theistic, in theistic school, you believe in a higher authority. But Buddhism, Nirvishesha Sunyavad, what they say, they don't talk about any God, They just say that, your mind, all you have to is very much personal focus. All you have to do is that make your mind shunya. They meditate on shunya. You become shunya. I don't know how to do that. When you become shunya, then you are free from the pain and pleasure of this material world. You are liberated. So there is no concept of God. Okay.
So in the Jain also there is a two concept, like one will accept God and other will not accept God.
In Jain also, they don't have, if you go to the temples, you would see that they have a temple, but they don't have any deity. Jain school is very against of worshipping and deity. Do you know that?
Yeah, but
they also,
how
yeah,
they
go ahead.
come under the theistic then, Prabhuji? If they don't accept God, how they come into the this theistic also, Ashtika?
They are Nastic. They're not Astic.
But here it
They,
says school of particularity Jain. You mentioned in Vaisheshika Kandamuni, like Jain. What is that Jain?
oh, you are saying like here from Brahmasika,
Mm-hmm.
this example is given here that Anant Nath Vad or Adrishta Vad. So their understanding is that they are trying to basically particularity here means trying to come to the pinnacles of the Jain word I should not have written there. It's a little confusing. So this basically teaching is coming to the pinnacles through accepting and rejecting. Oh, for example, you know, darkness is dark and day is bright. So darkness is not the reality. Light is the reality. Okay. You see my point? So
Yeah.
accepting, rejecting, and trying to conclude. So in daytime, morning is more refreshing. Daytime is mid or noon day is like in the mode of passion. Evening is in the mode of ignorance. So morning is better.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. So if you have to do anything, you do in the morning
Morning.
time. So like that, it's like nati type of thing, accepting, rejecting, and then coming to, you know, some conclusion. If you listen them, which is, I mean, sometimes you'll end up doing it. They don't really talk about some higher being. They will talk about Kambolo, you know, if you meditate, but I don't know who you are meditating upon. Try to disengage yourself from the pain and pleasure of the material world. Don't engage too much into the wealth collection or anything that is binding to you is the cause of, suffering. Those type of things. I think I should remove this Jan wall there. So those type of things they talk, but they really don't talk about Vishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda
But
Vigraha
yeah,
Anadiradir
yeah.
Govinda Sarvakaran Karanam Yate Chamsa Kalapam Sam Krishna Stu Bhagwan Swayam. What we are doing? We are using Guru Shastra and Sadhu, everything to understand Krishna. So it's very, very uh, personalist, personal philosophy, very personalized uh, for devotees. We have a goal. Okay, what is the goal of everything? Krishna Premartho Mahan. Krishna Bhumya Premartho Mahan. For the living entity, the real artha is having love for supreme love. So it might appear that they are talking some good thing, but ultimately at the core of their teaching, they are not helping you to connect with a person. So that's how atheistic school is mostly they have philosophy. Charvak, how one can say that Charvak is not the you know school that one should believe. Yes, there are. But then again, they will say that your health is everything. Focus on your health. If you are happy, you're healthy, then your life will be meaningful and all of that. So it does not go beyond.
Mm.
Traigunya Besaya Veda, Nestargunya Bhavarjana. It's Veda is teaching you, but it will keep you in a Tiriguna. Do the pure bhakti, you Arjun. So that way, it's just atheistic Mataji. And when you are talking about theistic,
Mm.
means it's talking about a supreme being. Okay.
Yeah.
All of these, or yoga, what they do, they'll say that focus on Lord Shiva. Do different posture, bring your control your breath and everything else, and meditate on Mother Kali, Mother Lord Shiva. He is the source of everything. So there is some personal concept. Now that personal concept might not be what Vedanta teaching is giving, that there is some personalized understanding. Is
Yeah.
that good enough, or you have follow up model?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. I just confused about that Jane. You put it here,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
No, I
confused.
I removed it. Then I know I just it required some justification to make the point clear. What do you have, Ruji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah,
So regarding this four sampradayas and oneness, this question comes again, and I wanted
yeah.
to get you how you would like to share. I would like to hear you from you, Prabhuji. So um, the living entity is very basic question kind of thing, very fundamental question kind of thing we hear many times. Just I'm saying. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Like Karanam Gunasangasya Sad Asad Yoni Janmashu. So because of the modes of association of the modes, then the living entity is bewildered, and then he comes under the contact with he comes under the modes of influence of the modes of material nature. So initially he was not, but somehow he has come under this influence. So how that is happened? Can you please refresh, Prabhuji? Can you please share something on that?
Earlier he was not, huh?
Yeah, earlier he was not, right. Initially he was with Krishna. It was pure at the beginning, but somehow he has come under the influence of these three modes of nature. How that has happened? Um, what could have been the reason that to come to this contact with the matter?
Prabhu, this is a very prominent question,
Mm.
and I'm sure Manohar Prabhu is not here, or anybody is here, yeah, or anyone who has studied a lot of things has some understanding. So there are, I can tell you uh, how to conclude this, discussion. There are two version of answer. The first one, which Prabhupada also had said, that we were with Krishna, and then at some point we decided to go out of Krishna, and we came out, and then slowly and slowly we got caught, and then we have to do devotional service to go back, right? Purify
Yes.
yourself and go back. So that's one approach, right?
Mhm.
You have come from Lord, do pure, you know, uh, Jivara Swarupa Nitya Krishna Das, your eternal identity is that you are servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are doing bhakti, you have stopped doing bhakti, now you do bhakti and go back. Okay, that is one understanding. But then, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has says that Mam Dhamam Paramam, once you come to my dham, my holy, abode, then punarjanamana bhavati, you are not going to take birth again.
You
So
never come back to this material world. Yeah.
you will not come to the material world. So if you have gone, if you have been there, and then you came back, now you are working hard to go back. So what is chance that you will not come back then?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So then Acharya have given the explanation of that, and that is the second part of the answer. Second part of answer is that jivare prakara hoy, jivare prakara hoy doye, nitya siddha nitya baddha. There are two types of living entity. One is nitya siddha and one is nitya baddha. Nitya siddha is eternally perfected devotee, and nitya baddhas are eternally bound, eternally perfected, and eternally bound. So eternally perfected devotee, they are always in association of God, and they have never fallen down. They're perfect. And then there are Nityabadha, who are eternally bound. From the very creation, when the creation started, the very first day of Lord Brahma, the souls have desire to enjoy, live away from Krishna, live independent life. They are Nityabada and they have no taste. They have never been to Krishna. They don't know Krishna. But through process of bhakti, they can purify themselves and become sadhana siddha. Means the soul who are perfected by engaging in the process of bhakti. So nitya siddha, sadhana siddha. Nitya siddhas are always devotees like Vasudev, Devaki, Nanda, Yashoda Mata, Gopas, Gopis. Those are eternal associates. They have nothing to do with the material world. Even they come to the material world, they just play their role, but they don't show any attachment to the things of the material world. Nothing can attract them. And some of the acharyas are also called Nitya like all the Mani Manjari, six Goswamis, they are eternal associates of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come, but the way they do, the way they behave, the way they act, it's very hard for ordinary people to follow because they are not of this world anyways. They are eternal associates. They never forget Krishna. They come even to material world, but they do pastime, but they are never in forgetfulness of Krishna. And that's why you will see Radhika ji is coming and all this miracles and pastime that will happen because those are Nidhisiddha. They have never really forgotten Krishna. But Bad Jiva forgets Krishna. Okay. So Bad Jiva forgets Krishna. Then they try to remember, by the help of Guru Shastra and Sadhu Krishna. And then depend on the association. They might be Brahmanwadi, Paramatmavadi, or Bhagwanwadi. And then they'll go to their destinations as they aspire to. Okay. So these are the two explanations. Many acharyas have concluded that we have never been to Supreme Lord. And that understanding aligns with all the teaching that is presented in the Shastra. Okay, Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhuji.
So
So,
it's not like that we were. So, if we take some learning from this discussion, learning is that we have never been to
we
Lord.
have
Yeah.
we have never
We are
been.
Nitya, yeah,
Sorry,
we are
sorry.
Nitya Bada Jiva. We have always been enjoying our own senses and our choices.
Okay, so just to summarize, Prabhuji, so the two categories you mentioned, Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas. Nitya Baddhas, we are Nitya Baddhas, kind of. So the Nitya Baddha is never been to Krishna. So this is now we are in the process to go back to Krishna. Is that is that is that correct understanding, Prabhuji?
Uh-huh.
So we never been to Krishna, but now we are in the process of going back to Godhead.
Yeah, we never went to Krishna. Yes.
We never been to Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, we have never been to Krishna. Otherwise, how come living in Titi will have such a huge forgetfulness? It sounds like we have really no idea who the Krishna is. Right?
Mm, mm.
So yes, we have never been to Krishna. We are Baddha Jiva. Miche de Baddha Jiva. Aas paas घूमे. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings. Tumi sarveshwara swara. Brajendra Kumar. তোমারে ইচ্ছায় স্ব সৃজন সংহার. Very nicely, in that song he says that this Maya Badaji, they have been wandering around. So I think we are Maya Badaji, Prabhu.
Maya.
But yeah, through bhakti process, we can go back to home, back to Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, trying to understand difference
Yeah.
between Veda and Vedanta. So it's the same thing or two different thing?
Vedanta is like, for example, when you write a research paper, okay? In the research paper, I'm not sure if you have that experience, but or for example, when you're writing the book, let's take the example of book. Books have introduction, then they have chapters, and then finally, through this chapter, they are concluding what they are saying, and this whole thing, the whole discussion, the contents of the book, and their essential learning can be presented in a summary. That's called abstract, right? So Vedanta Sutras are essential aphorism, abstractive teaching that is in the Veda. Veda is like ocean. Okay. So if you want to know the everything, you have to get into that ocean. So those teachings are put into different categories and given as a sutra. Okay. As a tamso majotirgamya. Now to understand this, why lightness, why vidya, and then see vidya and avidya, you will see here. We'll talk about it. Why vidya? Vidya is considered light. Why vidya? Knowledge is important. Now go and study. Why vidya is important. Tamso majotirgamya. You know, is there. Janmadiyasya taha. Asto braham jigyasa. So those are the aphorism, essential, conclusive teaching that is presented. So that is called Vedanta Sutra. Okay, that is called Vedanta Sutra. But Vedanta as such is the Vedic teaching. So that's what you are asking. But if you are asking Vedanta Sutra, then it's the summary of Vedic teaching. But if you are asking what is Vedanta versus Veda, is same thing. Okay, that part of Vedic teaching which focused on devotional service as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is that enough, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. It helps, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Harish.
Yes, this term sometimes could be very confusing. Veda is very, very vast, extremely vast. And Vedanta is one aspect of it, which is very much talking about devotional service. That's why these are called four Sampradaya. Ramanuja Sampradaya, they also emphasize on devotional service. Right, Mataji, Bimala Mataji? Have you practiced anything with that Sampradaya?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right, so it's Vishnu's Bhakti, right?
Yeah.
Devotional service.
Devotional.
Very much focused devotional service. Yeah, it's completely. In fact, now the Prabhupada said that if you see these Ramanujacharya Sampradaya devotee, pay the sustan dandavad to them. They are very exalted personality, they are pure devotees. I mean, pure devotee in terms of their understanding. Advaita Acharya, Mahaprabhu gave very different definition of uh, pure bhakti. And I would, if I say that, then you might say, "Oh, Prabhu, that's really." But yes, that's true. That the pure devotion, the only bhakti, is coming in the teaching of Mahaprabhu. Okay, other teachings are there, but it's not very explicitly talks about pure devotion. Annavilasita sunyam jnana karmadya navritam. That type of explicit understanding of pure devotion you might not find in other places. I'm being recorded this is a live class, but there are so many teachings. Okay, but those teachings does not so explicitly talks that the main goal of life is to purely serve. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. Kavita va jagdise kaame, mama janmani janmani ishware, bhavtad bhakti hitakitoi. But there are people who think that they are devotee They do arti in the evening and say, Sukha Sampati Ghara Ave Kastamite Tanaka Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Go and tell them. They also think that they are devotee. What they are asking? Happiness, Sukha Sampati, happiness and wealth, comes to our house. And with that happiness, Kastamite, all the suffering that we have to this body, that will be vanquished. And go ahead and they say that they will say they're also devotee. They're also, they'll be criticizing you. Now, these people are only saying Krishna, 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 Krishna all the time. And then they'll go to, Kali Mataji Mandir, Durga Mataji Mandirs, Sarvadhar Sambhav, everybody is same. They will pay obeisances to everybody. Sab theek hai, it's all God, it's all we are. And they're very, they're pious people and all of that, but their understanding is very mixed up. So very clear, defined devotional. What is pure devotional service? That's why Rupanuga. That's why teaching that is given by six Goswamis, Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatt Das Raghunath. These teachings, when we say that Harinam, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana, we just sing. Okay, we just sing. But we don't understand how much weight this statement is carrying. That, oh, Premadhana, okay, out of all opulences that's there, topmost opulence is having devotion, pure devotion. Devotion, first devotion, and then having pure devotion for Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is not ordinary wealth. Okay, that's not ordinary wealth. Somebody is crazy, day in, day out, working on their, Krishna consciousness. There are some people who are initiated also in our Sampradaya, and they will not have much interest. So this interest, this mood to serve, have devotion towards Lord, and then cultivating and raising that mood to pure devotion. Not everybody is also pure devotee. They are devotees, but not pure devotee. So first they will talk all the philosophy, big thing bolega, but that means nothing. They have thousands of miles to go, but it's okay. You know, Uttama Bhakta has to respect everybody, so we just like to worship. So this teaching that our acharyas have given, especially six Goswamis, that's why we have to understand that this is not very uh, light subject that we are talking. Maybe we are not qualified to understand the depth of the teaching that is being presented to us. We're not understanding what we are talking about, although we are talking about it. But in reality, we are talking about topmost subject. This type of bhakti, where we say that Krishna, when Krishna becomes very happy, he is going to snitch everything away. Suchinam Srimate Gehe, Janmeswarya Suta Srivir, Yadman Madha Puman, Naivarhati Vidhatu Vai, Toyam Akinchana Gochara. My dear Lord, Gochara, you are a follower of those who are Akinchana. So these things we talk, but they are very profound and very deep statement. So the teaching that Mahaprabhu gives is talking about this purest of the pure bhakti, which is the topmost wealth. You know, in the on the name of devotion, people are looking for dhanam janam, kavita. Somebody should understand. I'm very devotee, very big devotee. Everybody should follow me. Everybody should listen me. If I'm saying something, then this is supremely. Please open the door, Prabhu. Yeah. Aja, aja. Yeah. Uh, इधर देखो प्रभु जी, there might be some notes here. I don't know exactly, but there is, some boxes here. You might find one. So not everybody is ready to take this also, but we have to understand what type of wealth we are talking about. So all of these sampradayas are bona fide sampradaya because they talks about devotion, and then slowly and slowly we have to cultivate to reach towards pure devotion. You don't find anything, Prabhu? Pain, yeah, pain is there. It's in that bag on the, yeah. There is marker and pen also. Yeah. So you can bring it back, okay? So that somebody else in the future they ask me, I can give it to them. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your help. Okay. So anything anybody had that they would like to ask? Anything? I think you cannot really go more, or you want me to go more a little bit. What is time right now? Yeah, it's already 12:01. I'll just go through this slide, okay? Is it okay, devotees? Are you seeing the screen or it's done?
No, we are not seeing screen, Prabhuji.
Okay, you're not seeing. Okay. Sorry. Let me share the screen once again. Sorry, Mataji. Oh, this is not the right one. We'll just. So, Prabhu's Mataji's one thing is that pray, to Krishna, my dear Lord, help me so that I can become your pure devotee. Don't ask anything else, okay?
Yeah.
We have fault, we are doing, I'm making mistakes, sure. I'm not perfect right now, but my dear Lord, help me become perfect. Help me become pure devotee. Don't try to purify your desire. Don't let desire, for self praise, this, name, that name, those things. Don't worry too much about it. Don't push yourself to become famous and this and that. Just, very humbly take the shelter of Lord. My dear Lord, please purify my heart so that I don't see the value of unwanted thing. I see value of your pure devotion. Don't try to put your emotion into the material affair also too much.
Yeah.
Keep your emotion saved for Krishna. So it's very important. Mm, Let's make it life, make this life meaningful. So that was the introduction. Then we are getting into invocation. So the first prayer of Isopanisad, Purnamada Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamadachate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevasishate. That's the verse. Invocation. No, Isavasam Jagat Sarvam. That's the invocation. And then we'll slowly and slowly get into the discussions. But the first four verses talks about living in harmony with God. Right? See the teaching. See the teaching, Isopanishads teaching. How to live in harmony with Supreme God. Are we living in the harmony of God or not? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachate Purnasya Purnamalaya Purnameva Sishyate. That's the invocation prayer. So understand that. And then we'll get into verse number 1 that says Isavasam Idam Sarvam. Yat Kincham Jagatayam Jagat. That's the verse we'll get into. So we'll slowly and slowly get to the next section, which is going to help us develop the spiritual vision. And after that, this Vidya and Avidya. This is a very important segment. There are certain, you know, part of the practices that appears to be Vidya, but in reality it's Avidya. Okay. Then Sambhuti versus Asambhuti, which means worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead versus worshipping the demigods and other forms of worship. and finally puts all of this understanding together, and we pray to Supreme Lord to engage in his pure devotional service. My dog, please remove all of this glare that is in front of my eyes and help me so that I can engage in your devotional service. Kindly destroy all of my sins. So Isopanisad, is beautiful. It will help us come closer to Krishna. That is the meaning of this vocals. Okay, so with that, I would like to pause here and see if there is any questions, anything that anybody would like to ask. Let have some discussion. It's good to have some discussion. If you ask, others also learn from it. So it's 12:06. We can take few minutes to discuss. Manoj, you have something that you want to share?
You're on mute, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam. No, thank you. No particular question, but thank you for enlightening us and the different
You're
lineage.
already enlightened.
No, Prabhu, we are in darkness, permanent, Nitya Baddha. Hare Krishna.
You're already enlightened, Prabhu.
Thanks for your encouraging, but we are in darkness, Prabhu. We need your
I
classes.
see that, whatever vision I have, I can see.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. All devotees mercy, Prabhuji. Hare Bol. Hare
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Asking something? Brinda Sundari Mataji, you were asking something, or anybody was asking anything? No questions? Samaya Mataji, what's going on? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
What's going on? You have to give the summary of everything that we talked today. Can you summarize?
Sure, Prabhuji. We started with different schools of theology. One is atheistic, the other one is theistic. Then we saw the sampradayas that we have, the four sampradayas, and then the Mayavadi school that was started by Shankaracharya. And then we saw like the summary of like all the shlokas, what like each shloka talk about.
Yeah, I will do a little bit more of that next week. I just wanted to give everybody idea that we are proceeding now from here into the next section, so that you would know that okay, we are making some progress. Yes, thank you. Okay, so if there is nothing much, then I think can we adjourn here, Gopal Gatu Prabhu? Are we okay?
Sure, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So let's adjourn here. Vanchal Pataru Vesha Kripa Sindhu Vesha Patitanam Pavane Vaisnava Namo Namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
See
Krishna.
you all